Hello, welcome to Civic Affairs. I'm Andy Martens. Thank you for joining us. Our guest is Flannigan today, active citizen extraordinaire. Welcome to the show, Cara.
Oh, thank you, Andy.
Let's start off with this. The recent truckers' visit to Sault Ste. Marie the other night, their issue and all of that, what that entails. What are you thinking about all that?
Well, I was watching, as was most of the community, because we knew and knew to expect them to come into town. I appreciate their passion, and most people who know me in the community know that I'm very active on climate change front. So when you're talking about the oil sands and the fossil fuel industry in Canada, I do have strong feelings about what we need to do for that. And the buying pipelines that we have recently done and planning to build more for natural gas, that's actually, I think, going in the wrong direction, knowing what we know from the Intergovernmental Panel. The scientists of the world have said that we have to leave 80% of the known fossil fuels in the ground. So that means no more exploration for new. It means don't expand the infrastructure that we do have. And so I can see why it would put a panic in the fossil fuel workers. So whenever we're doing any planning for the future, we have to make sure that everyone is taken care of. So there's a lot of work to be done in Alberta to clean up the tar sands. So that would put a lot of people to work there, and building out the green renewable infrastructure in Alberta, which is one of the best places for solar in Canada. So I appreciate their concern and enthusiasm. Mixed into that was a little bit of another situation, the Yellow Vest group, and if you were following, as I was, for climate change, the Yellow Vest movement in Paris and France, they were dealing with climate issues for wealth redistribution and fairness and political participation. The Yellow Vests that I've read about here in Canada have elements of intolerance and anti-immigration and those sorts of things. And I don't think...
How did that happen? I'm confused as to how these guys were going off on their own tangent.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe they had something in common with the convoy in supporting pipelines. So they kind of showed up, and sometimes that can be very problematic when you have elements of another group showing up to support one issue, and you don't necessarily support their thinking. So that can be very problematic.
And the group that was traveling across Canada arrived in Ottawa today. They caught on to the fact that the Yellow Vests they weren't on the same team here. They were a little bit off the mark. Yeah,
so I think, unfortunately, that kind of detracted from the message of the pipelines. But I think one thing for the next 12 years, as we decarbonize and move away from fossil fuels, is we have to make sure that we bring everyone along and that everyone is taken care of. So we can't just be like General Motors and walk away from a plant and our responsibilities and commitments that had been made. We need to plan, and we can do this. Like the great thing about 2019 is that we have the resources and the technology. Unfortunately, we don't have the political will. So that is problematic to us transitioning and keeping everyone safe.
A question on that, the political will, how much, if Donald Trump gets reelected in 2020, how much is that going to put all of this backwards? Because he's certainly not buying into this in the United States.
Yes. That is very concerning on a number of different levels. We need everyone on the planet to be working towards getting rid of fossil fuel combustion, and we need them to be on board. Him not being on board, I don't think that should stop the rest of the world from carrying on and doing our best. And we certainly can't do anything about what the Americans do.
Right.
But
it does affect us.
It does.
Such.
Yes, it does. And I'm really hoping that 2020 things turn around. And I think we're seeing some really exciting stuff coming out of this, and the Green New Deal that they're talking about. I think that's absolutely so exciting, because it talks about a transformation, about the green jobs. We've been talking about this politically. I'm politically involved, and we've been talking about the green jobs for many election cycles that I've participated in, and I don't understand why people don't want a sunshine spill. If you have a wind energy spill, oh darn, fly a kite. But and those jobs are necessary, and they help us meet our climate change commitments that we made, and it improves our housing stock. It improves our resilience in the event of a power outage. It protects the environment just from extraction processes, period. So there's a lot of advantages there, and it puts people to work. So, okay, we can't, have a horse and buggy anymore. Like that was replaced by the automobile. So we replaced the gas combustion engine with electric vehicles, and that's happening so quickly. I'm so excited about that, and they're noticing with the sales of electric cars in Europe and China that fossil fuel consumption is actually going down. Okay. So buying an electric car is really moving us forward on climate action.
Let's talk a little bit about that after the break. I want to know more about electric cars, because this needs to transition sooner than later.
Yes.
We'll be back to continue the conversation with Kara right after this message.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Listen to them. Children of the night. Alive! It's alive!
Cozy up this winter with Mio's Furniture Fashions. Add some warmth and comfort to your home with Dimplex electric fireplaces. Now 25% off. Save 20 to 30% off Lazy Boys. Sleep easy with a new Sealy Posturepedic, Stearns, and Foster or Tempur-Pedic mattresses and adjustable beds. Now up to 50% off. Shop these and other incredible deals this winter at Mio's Furniture Fashions. Surface before and after the sale. 261 Trunk Road. Where else?
It's a film festival that is outstanding in every way. And this February, Shadows of the Mind Film Festival celebrates its 20th year in bringing world-class films to Sault Ste. Marie. Films with a focus on mental health, addiction, and social issues. Films that not only entertain but educate as well. Plan your film festival getaway February 23rd through March 3rd in Sault Ste. Marie. For full details, visit shadowsfilmfest.com. Shadows of the Mind Film Festival. One movie can change you.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Kara Flannigan, who's the environmentalist extraordinaire. And before the break, we were talking about the Green Deal, Kara, in the United States that some Democratic candidates running for president aren't really thrilled about. I wanted to ask you one thing, though. How are they going to sell the United States electorate to scrap planes and take a train from New York to LA?
Well, I know Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was talking about that, and I read the article, and she was talking, and the research has shown that if you're looking at short runs, 300 kilometers with high-speed trains, it actually does make a dent in the airline industry. And then the longer the distance, of course, the more attractive airline flying is. And so the pushback, you always have to follow the money, right? The money is
right.
that the airlines don't want to lose that business to high-speed rail. And with high-speed rail, I mean, we already have hydrogen rail. So that's clean energy right there. So, and it moves, it's mass transit, it's more environmentally friendly. We already have the rail infrastructure. Here, even in Canada, we have proponents to reestablish rail service in Northern Ontario, and that's absolutely fabulous. The money, it's proven to really make a difference in our economy, and it connects remote communities, and it gets tons and tons of trucks off the road. I don't know why we aren't doing this in Northern Ontario. So re-establishing rail service in Northern Ontario.
But you're going to have the pushback from the business community. They're going to say, well, I need to get from New York to LA in 4 hours. Can the trains do that? This is the problem we're going to have.
Okay, and then you look at Elon Musk, okay?
Right.
So he's got his famous boring company, which is drilling through like miles under, not miles, very deep into the earth, and so he's running straight runs, and he's got a trial run already, and so it wouldn't surprise me in the least if that was one of the routes that he chose. And then you just put a high-speed train, or there's hyperlinks that they're working on. It's just so exciting, the research that's coming out of the opportunities. And so when you're looking at the investments in the research and development, that's where we have to really rethink what we're doing. They estimate that Canadian subsidies of the fossil fuel industry has been in like $35 billion or even more. Could you imagine if we had put that investment into better battery storage for our renewable energy that we make too much of? Could you imagine if we invested that in high-speed rail connections? Could you the opportunities and the investment in research to get further, faster, and greener is remarkable. And so that's why I think that we need to rethink. Don't invest in the old. Invest in where we want to be. And I don't know about you, but I mean, I really like clean air. I really like clean water. I really like to have a secure food supply. I really like peace. Those are things that we don't necessarily tie to climate change. And when we're talking about climate change, a lot of people, it's not on their radar. They don't have a strong sense. It doesn't feel very imminent. They don't recognize that it's affecting them, especially when they're looking at really, really cold weather, which is part of climate change.
Well, let's transfer to electric cars. I think that if they're going to move this agenda forward, they got to get to the electric cars. Is that about 10 years off, or what are you thinking?
It's happening now. This is what I mean. It's so exciting, is that people are picking up on electric cars. Why? Because they're absolutely fabulous. I have a car that it's a plug-in electric hybrid, and I can program it to preheat in the morning before I go out to get in it. So like there's so many advantages to electric car. They go faster, they have fewer moving parts, they're much cheaper to maintain, and they're cleaner. And imagine if you didn't have to own a car at all, when this is coming with the autonomous vehicles and that, so you call up a car on your phone and it picks you up and it drops you off where you want to be, but you don't have to pay for a car. You don't have to pay for car insurance. So then those things are coming, and I think it's really exciting.
The electric car is costly, though, from what I've heard. It's a little bit pricier than the regular car that we're used to.
Well, certainly the current government stopped the subsidies for the purchase of electric cars, and that's too bad because the uptake was really gaining a lot of momentum. So that was I think very backwards thinking to do that. I'm sorry, what was the question again?
The electric cars, like where we've seen the cost of them needs to come down.
Well, they even without the subsidies now, they're finding that the savings that you make in your electric car for maintenance, as well as fuel purchasing, they calculate that those savings over a 10-year period, you could buy a new car. So although it might seem to be a little bit more expensive up front, the payoff is the savings through the 10 years. And
are we doing a good job in convincing the masses, though, right now?
Well,
the way you see it?
And this is why I always say follow the money, right? Yeah. Okay, so the corporations, the car manufacturers, and many of them are committed to only making electric cars starting in 2020. That's next year. So who do they want to have the fossil fuel cars?
Right.
So they might even get really cheap, so that you can't say no to a fossil fuel combustion car because they're just so cheap. But then recognizing that you're going to be stuck with a stranded asset or a vehicle that you may not be able to buy fuel for, or it becomes increasingly difficult to find fueling stations because we're getting electric charging stations everywhere. So you know, the car manufacturers really don't want to put a big push on, I would guess, for electric cars because they want to sell all the fossil fuel combustion cars that they got.
Yeah.
The other way of looking at that, though, is with electric cars, and I'm not an economist, I just, pay attention to some stuff that's of interest to me. And if you look at electric cars, without the subsidies, that may impact sales, but I don't think so. I think people are seeing the value of an electric car and going for it anyway. But I expect that there's going to be incentives from the manufacturers.
There has to be, yeah. There has to be.
Yeah. So
let's take another quick break, and we'll continue the conversation with Kara right after this.
At 4:45, discover all kinds of treasures and never pay more than $5. Inventory is restocked every Saturday, and you can find anything from electronics to household items, toys, and much, much more. On Saturday, everything is $5, and the price goes down throughout the week, ending with 25 cents on Friday. We restock weekly with new items from various big box stores, so you never know what treasures you can find. Come visit us at 4:45, 2510 Ashman Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
I need a new phone. What do you use your phone for mostly?
Work, play.
Oh, you mean everything.
One that won't run out of battery when Joyce from accounting is doing the Running Man.
Who else wants to see that Running Man demo?
The Samsung Galaxy Note 9. It's a great phone with a powerful all-day battery. We've got the best phone for you for a great price. And you can choose your carrier.
A little Running Man?
Just a little. There. Nice. I hope no one saw that.
Whew. Where was she when I went phone shopping?
Have a great business idea but don't know where to start? Need help taking your business to the next level? C2C Business Services can be your guide in navigating the path of entrepreneurship, with services ranging from grant funding support, access to service experts, market information, and helping your business adopt new technologies to create and foster a culture of innovation for ongoing success. Call C2C Business Services and let them be your first step in taking your entrepreneurial dreams from concept to commerce. C2C Business Services is a division of the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Center.
Welcome back. We're continuing our conversation with Kara Flannigan. Kara, let's talk about the beach and the Extinction Rebellion. I really wanted to know what that's all about, and I know that you know.
Okay, I don't know if you've noticed in town, we sang a love song to council. And
I was standing right behind you in the council chamber.
I should have given you a song sheet. And we also sang at the mall, and just to raise awareness about climate change. Now, Extinction Rebellion actually came out of England because citizens and scientists and people realized that there was not enough action. And when you look at the science that says that we only have like 11 years to start turning this around quickly, we need to put some pressure on our governments to, first of all, tell the truth, and the media to share that information so that it's not just information that's in a small group of people. Everyone needs to know the extent of the ecological and environmental collapse that we're experiencing. So, because we're all in this together, and joining Extinction Rebellion was important to me because I have been always involved as an environmentalist since I was 7 years old, and I run politically for a party that supports strong environmental action, and that's because we only have one planet, and we are actually animals. We don't think of ourselves as animals, but we are animals that needs clean air, clean water, and clean food. And we need shelter. We need a secure food supply. We need no forest fires. People don't tie those things in to climate change. And one of the things that's really not tied into climate change is mass migration, such as the caravan that was coming up from South America and the Syrian refugees. That all of those mass migration, when you don't have clean air, water, and food, and peace and nature. Those are all things that we have to fight to protect and preserve, and we have to protect people, because actually, if you don't have what you need, your society collapses.
Right.
And then you get people fighting for food and water.
How are you doing with convincing the mayor and councillors with all of this, being at the council chambers?
Well, I think they were very pleased with our gentle and loving message, putting climate change on the map. And I'm just so excited because the future SSM document that the city is implementing for our community, one of the pillars is a clean green environment, which, you know, we have a lot of strengths there. So, and just today I saw an announcement that the city was got money, $125,000, I believe, for climate change action. So that's exciting. That it's all coming together. And I think one of the things about community is supporting each other, helping each other, not leaving anyone behind. We're all in this together, and we're together we are stronger. I know that's a catchphrase that's been co-opted by political things along the way, but we definitely are stronger together.
But we're not moving quickly enough in this process.
Right, and that's why Extinction Rebellion is to put the pressure on, get the word out, get everyone involved, and we can do this. The thing is, we're not doing it, so we have to push that.
What would you be wanting to do now that you're not doing to move the process faster?
Well, certainly I would love our community to join Vancouver and Halifax and declare a climate emergency. That would be one of the first things for
the mayor and council to do that?
We're going to try and convince them that that's a good idea. Another great thing would be for us to hire an environmental commissioner, and I know of one who just recently is going to be leaving her job, unfortunately, because her position was collapsed by the current provincial government. So I think we should just jump on that right away. And if we had an environmental commissioner, they would be able to determine our climate how much greenhouse gases we emit as a community from our industry, from our vehicles, from our housing, and then establish a budget so that we can start identifying ways to decrease our carbon footprint and move towards fossil free. And I think those are very doable for Sault Ste. Marie.
You're a political activist, but in a way you'll have to lobby too, don't you, the mayor and council, to get these initiatives moving.
Yes, I think as a citizen we have all kinds of opportunities to make our community better and make our social settings better and take advantage of every opportunity that you have to be connected with groups, with our municipal government. No other level of government is as accessible as our municipal government.
Right.
So that's a great place to start. And they're great people. I look at a council meeting on television, and my goodness, they work hard. So let's, and I think they don't get into politics or to council for any other reason other than they probably want to make a really good difference.
People don't like to make it political, but unfortunately in your case, what you're interested in moving the agenda forward, you have to have a political piece in it.
And you don't let anyone fool you. Everything you do is political. Yeah. Everything. I mean,
definitely. The workplace is political in every way.
Yeah. So to say that you're not involved in politics, you may not run for office, or you may not protest or advocate or lobby or anything like that. However, everything you do is controlled by politics, controlled by government, controlled by decisions that are made. And that's, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of our biggest obstacles is our antiquated electoral system that gives 40% of the votes 100% of the power. Yeah. So, and that's nowhere near fair, and I don't know how we would even define that as being democratic anymore. So electoral reform is an extremely important a change that we have to do so that people are engaged, so that they feel that their vote does
definitely count. We need to get that voter percentage up. But Kara, you've been a wonderful guest. I really enjoy having you on, and we're going to do it again.
Okay,
thank you so
Andy.
much.
Thank you very much.
This is Civic Affairs. I'm Andy Martens. Thank you for watching for another week. We'll see you next time.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million Affordability Fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.